Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Brand Boutique Elite. I have a very special guest today, Janine Hernandez. She is a book publisher, so I know that there are a ton of you out there that are looking for ways to, write your book, publish your book, and get even more exposure for your book. So thank you so much, Janine, for being on today. Tell us a little bit more about what you do for your clients.
So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. My name's Janine, and I am the founder of the Book Publishing Academy. So I coach aspiring authors on how to fully write, publish, and market their books. I started off with one-to-one coaching, but now I have built an online school. So basically, you do the online schooling, and you can get yourself published in either 3 to 6 months.
I know that there are a ton of you out here that are looking to publish your book, or, you've been told, oh, you have great expert tips, or, you publish a book because it gives you more brand validity, or maybe there's some great stories about your life or things that you want to share. And you can do this. It is not such a crazy idea. I know that it might be overwhelming, but Janine walks people through the process so you can, do her academy, have the hand holding, join the community of other authors out there so that you have the support so you get the project done. I know many people say that they've had their book going for, about 5 years now, and they haven't gotten it published or out there. So I know that Janine's process, gets you through all of that stuff and takes you to that next level. So Janine, tell me, what are some of the common mistakes or things that hold people back? Because, oh yeah, I've been working on my book. How do you, what are those things that you see people do it, and how do you get them from the concept or, spinning their wheels to actually getting it done?
So I think the number one thing that holds people back is fear. They're afraid of a multitude of different things, but I usually hear, I'm afraid to be vulnerable with my audience. I'm afraid of what people will think. Will my book even sell? Am I a good writer? A lot of these thoughts run through the minds of people that are writing a book or want to write a book, which is totally normal because I've been there as well. I'm still there sometimes. I have those fears as well. I think also what holds people back is the investment that it takes to write and publish a book. They have a great idea, but then they're not willing to invest in actually publishing it. So there's a couple of things that hold people back from writing their books. And so what I do when I have my clients is the very first thing that we talk about is the mindset that you need to have in order to become an author. And we constantly talk about mindset and having a positive mindset around writing your book, because there will be times, it's inevitable, there will be times where you're writing your book and you're going to get stuck. And you're going to have self-doubt, and you're going to overthink everything that you write. And you're going to maybe write something and then delete it because you want to perfect it. It's totally normal, but we talk about mindset a lot because I think it's so, so important to reframe your mind when you're writing and publishing your book.
And I think that mindset, that happens in any area of business. If somebody's presenting on stage, if someone's doing a workshop, if someone's launching a new product, if somebody, there's always all of this self-doubt in there. There's always, it's just about pushing forward and doing some of the work and progressing forward. There's never a time period where anything is going to come out, perfect on day one. It's also, trial and testing what's going to work, testing what you like. So what are, that mindset, once you have that mindset, what is like the next step?
So the next step is creating an outline, figuring out what you're going to write about. So getting clear on your subject for your book, like what you're writing about, because sometimes a lot of people have a lot of ideas. So it's solidifying one idea. And then what we do is we go through and create an outline for you. So we create chapter titles, and around those titles, we create topics and subtopics that will make it so much easier for them to actually be organized and be able to write their ideas out. And then once they actually sit down and start writing, it's just an easier process because they're not just on a blank page trying to figure out what they're going to write.
What about the people that want to write a book and they're really great at what they do and they have lots of knowledge to share, but they feel like they're not a great writer? How do you
That
handle?
is totally normal. I'm there as well. I've thought that as well. So I always tell people, first, that's a mindset thing, right? But I always tell people, when you write your book, the first thing you want to do is just get all your ideas and your thoughts out. We will figure out the fixing of it and the perfection of it later. And that's why we have editors, because there's editors that can do different types of editing, not just spelling and grammar, but they can do content and story development, and they can look at it and provide feedback. That's why we also have beta readers, people that can read your book prior to you publishing it and will give you feedback on, X, Y, and Z. But I tell people, don't allow that to stop you. The number one thing you want to do is just get your thoughts out, get it out on paper. Let's start writing, and then we can go back later and fix that up.
And I think that that's, super important. I have lots of clients that are really great at what they do, and they are just an expert in different areas. And sometimes they're like, oh, I don't feel like this writing is adequate. I don't feel like this is, good enough to actually put out there. So that's great to know that there's different kinds of editors out there that will be able to change the storyline, that will be able to really incorporate, the concepts that you want, whether it be like just fixes or storyline fixes, beta testing. So utilizing that kind of like the focus group concept of having people read and understand that. What would you say are kind of some of your best how-tos? So getting that mindset, getting, it out on paper, then what else?
I would say that, well, the very first thing before you do any of that is make a decision. So, and that's a huge one, is because a lot of people will not make the decision. They'll have the idea, but they'll kind of play with that idea for years. So make a decision and let's create a goal. That's the number one thing you want to do, is create a goal, and let's set a date. I usually, when I have my clients, I ask them, what is your target date for publishing? And whether that's 9 months out or a year out, but then that allows me to create smaller goals for them so that they can write their book. And we can split it up so that you don't have to write every single day. We can maybe write 3 times a week. But that is huge, because if you don't have a goal, you're kind of just writing whenever, and you don't really have a target date. You don't really know where you're going. So I would say creating a goal, start writing, and then we can move forward in the publishing process.
Yeah, and I think that that is so important to have goals. When I'm working with my clients, we have our marketing plan, and that there's specific goals and objectives that we need to reach every week to get to our every month goal, to get to our long-term goal. And I think a lot of times, especially entrepreneurs that maybe are all spread all over the place and are wearing multiple hats, they kind of are just doing the doing. And like you said, they're going to not necessarily have, if they don't have that goal in mind, they're just kind of going to be writing whenever and not really get to that point. And I think when you don't have accomplishment because you're not setting goals and putting in the time to accomplish those goals, it becomes overwhelming. And it's like, oh, I don't want to get to this. I don't want to do this because I've been writing this for 5 years and there's no progress made. So I love that you break it down and really set goals for your clients. I think that that is super helpful. What are some of the benefits of having a published book?
So there's so many benefits. I like to think of a book as your business card, right? You want to be prepared. You never know when you're going to run into an opportunity and you're not prepared or you're not ready for it. So I'll give you an example. One of my coaches, he's my speaking coach. He went to speak at a like a company or organization, their conference. It was like 500 people, and at the end of his speech, everyone was asking for his book, and he didn't have one. So you don't want to be in a situation where people want your book and you don't have a book to give them. So that's the first thing. But it just opens up so many different doors. So I've been able to hit Amazon's bestsellers. That opened up a plethora of opportunities for me: speaking engagements, panel discussions, podcasts, being on the news, radio, just pretty much anything and everything that you can think of. It opens up so many windows of opportunities for you, and it helps you become the expert subject matter in whatever field you're in, whether that's if you're a coach, a fitness person, whether you're just writing about your life. People will look up to you because you have a book.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen a ton of speakers, say, "Who wants a free copy of my book? Run up here. The first 5 people will get a copy." And then, that's another sale at the back of the room. It definitely opens up the door of positioning you as that expert in the space. If you're going to take the time to compile a book with all of your knowledge, clearly you have some grasp of that industry, some grasp, and you're comfortable and confident enough to put that out there. And I love that you said it's like your business card. Getting a piece of paper with, you're at a networking event, you're collecting tons of business cards, but that person that hands you their book, and if it's something that is relevant and pertinent to you, and you read that and you get something from it, that person will refer you, will talk about you, will remember you, and maybe then it's an easier upsell into your workshop or your one-on-one coaching. So for all of the business coaches out there, it is such a great opportunity to position yourself in that space by, telling people you are expert, getting an Amazon bestseller, putting in the work to do that. There is some strategy and technique to do the marketing so that you get out there. But like you said in the beginning, you have to invest in this. Any area of your life, whether it is you want to be an athlete, you want to be an author, you want to be a speaker, you want to be an expert in your space, whatever that is, there's the planning, and then there's the investment of what you have to do. Not no one is good at all of the things. It's just, I know people that are great at lots of things, but it's not like I can say that they're great at painting a house, doing marketing and doing financial reports. Like, people have different interests and will kind of gear down to a certain thing. And of course, there probably are people listening that will be good at those 3 things. But if we stay in our lane and we work with experts and coaches to help us get to our goals faster, it's so much easier to get there with that guidance rather than having to figure it out all ourselves. And, tell us more about what you've seen, like people that have come to you and they might have said, "Oh, the last 5 years I've been working on this," but then they work with you. Like, what are some of the results that they've seen and kind of some of the breakthroughs that they've seen with working with your program?
So definitely, I've had on both ends people that want to write the book, and then people that have already started and haven't done anything with it for 5 or plus years. So I've had 3 authors that have hit Amazon's bestsellers, and then like I said, I'm currently working with about 13 different authors who will be launching their books this year. Some of them are in the final publishing stages, and then some of them, like I mentioned, already have their book done. They've had it for years and they just need help with that final step of publishing. So I've seen both ends, and it's definitely very rewarding when you actually have your book in your hand at the end of the day, when you're like, okay, this is mine, like this is my book and I did it, you know? So I know that the 13 that are going to publish this year are just, they're going to excel and exceed their own like quotas that they have for themselves. I know they're going to do some amazing things, and I just can't wait to see who else is out there that's interested in writing their books.
How did you get started in, book publishing and in supporting other people with this process?
So it's funny because I have been writing since I was about 9 years old. And my whole life, I would tell my parents, when I grow up, I'm going to be an author. This is literally my story. I've told everyone my whole life. And I waited 18 years to publish my first book, 18 years. And I finally published it in 2015. And since then, I've published five. But what happened was is that people would reach out to me and they would say, I love what you're doing. I love your success. How do I do what you're doing? So I started to coach one-to-one, doing one-to-one coaching with authors. And then the pandemic hit and everyone had free time and wanted to write a book. So I shifted my model from one-to-one face-to-face coaching to online coaching. And so that just, it took off. The book publishing academy took off. There's so many people that have stories, so many people that want to write, so many people that want to be published authors, and they're able to do it. And so now that I have the online academy, it's a lot easier because I can do group coaching with them, and also provide insight and coaching on a one-to-one basis when they need it. But that way I can impact more people at the same time. And that's kind of how I got started. I just saw that there was a need for it and I went running with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. 5 books. Wow. What kinds of books do you focus on writing?
I have a little bit of everything. So my very first book is called Through My Eyes. It's a poetry book. I also have a children's book that's called Feathers in the Sky. I have two ebooks that are about self-publishing. And then I have one self-help book. It's called Life is a Beautiful Journey: 15 Ways to Create a Life Full of Joy and Gratitude. So I've kind of dabbled in different genres. And it's good because I've seen which ones are the ones that I'm more interested in. And I would have to say it's self-help, personal development type books. That's probably the area in which I'm going to stay in moving forward.
Cool. And do you work with authors in all different genres?
Yes, I do. So I have authors that do personal development, self-help. I have business. I have memoirs. We even have people that are doing planners, like planners with the calendars. I have children's books, novels, just all of it. You name it, we have it.
And is the marketing, so what are some of the marketing tips to get these books out there? So once, you publish them, you have them on Amazon, what are some of the tips that you see really work for the authors that you're working with?
The number one thing that I preach to them is engaging and connecting with people authentically. And so, yes, grow your following on your social media pages because those are free at the end of the day. But connecting with people is huge. I always tell people you want to connect with, maybe set a number daily, but you want to connect with people, talk with them. Find out, if it's someone that's interested in your book, like the genre of book that you're writing, talk with them, have conversations with them on social media, respond to their comment on their pictures. But engaging with people is huge because they will end up supporting you. And if it's something that they are interested in reading, like if they're into poetry or if they're into self-help, etc., they will more than likely support you if they know that you authentically connect with them. Now, if you're just on social media and not connecting with people, it becomes a little bit difficult to actually make sales. So that's like the number one thing I say is connect with people, engage, and then also storytell. Storytelling is huge right now. So sharing your experiences, do behind the scenes, have people come along on the writing process with you in the publishing process. Read your book on a live. There's so many things that you can do to connect with people just on social media or in a daily basis.
Yeah, for sure. That engagement, that building your community, and that authentic communication with people and growing your community is super important. When we're doing social media management for people, they're like, oh, yeah, just post things. And I'm like, okay, that's great. We will post things. We'll create amazing graphics. We will tell your story. We will, share the messaging that your brand has. Will share your core values and your vision, and share what your customers is saying, share some behind the scenes, and that's great. And so those are that output. But really, what's going to grow your brand, you can have 1,000 followers or 10,000 followers, and if you're not actually building relationships and communicating with people and building that trust with people, you're not going to make sales. People like to purchase from people that they like, trust, and see as that expert in the space. And if you're not, communicating, like, people think that they're just going to post something on social media and that they're going to get a ton of sales. Hey, buy my book, and they're going to get a ton of sales. Like, that doesn't work. You obviously let people know what you're selling, but I like to do it in this. If you walked up to somebody in the street and said, hey, buy my book, what would their response be? Granted, it's like not as weird to do that on social media, but it's still kind of weird. Like, nobody wants to just be approached with a sales pitch, even if it's for a book that is $9.99, which is not a high ticket item. It's just, you want to build that relationship and figure out how you can support people and how you can provide them with things that they need when they need it. So I love that you're sharing, really engage and build your communities. I think most of the people that have purchased one of my workshops or, worked with me one-on-one, we've had that one-on-one engagement interaction. It has never been somebody that has never heard of me or has just had one point of contact with me that has bought something. There's statistics out there that say it takes 7 to 12 times for somebody to encounter a person or a brand before they make the decision to purchase. And so that means that they have to, see you post, maybe attend your workshop, maybe listen to one of your live readings of your book. I think going into communities that are already established as well. So there's definitely meetups and different groups that already are established that have, leaders of their groups. So reaching out to those people and say, hey, let's do a virtual book reading party. Everyone, bring your favorite drink, and, we'll share, and, I'll read a part of this book and we can have a discussion about the subject matter. I think things like that, especially in our new normal of more virtual type things, are really beneficial. What would you say about, virtual events rather than like live events? And what are some of the live events that do work once we get to go back in public?
So I definitely think that connecting with people, so networking events are huge. Once we can, both online or in person, are great. And then also as an author, you want to have a book launch event. I've had experience hosting a successful book launch event in person and then having to do it online because of COVID. So you have to be flexible and be innovative and try different things. When I had to do it online, my book launch online, I had 2 guest speakers and a DJ at the end playing music. So
Ooh.
it felt like it was a real event. I had people bring their drinks and it was a Friday night, and I read a little bit about my book. We had the speakers talk and then the DJ. So it was fun. People had a great time. So you want to keep it engaging, have games or do different things so that people are connected and they want to stay on your event if it's a live one. So yeah.
That's super cool. You know what I just thought of is maybe sending. So I have a client that is launching a book and their podcast, and they have people that they interviewed on their podcast, and some of those stories are included on the book, and we're going to invite all of those people to be on our virtual book launch, podcast launch party. And what I was just thinking is that it might be nice for us to send them like a little care package, like maybe a bottle of wine or maybe some snacks, so that they can log in and open up the bottle of wine and have the snacks for the party, considering that we're not having a like actual live party. And I think too, a lot of times, like whether it be your podcast launch or your book launch, there's people that you may have worked with or people that are following you that are all across the world, all across the country. And so I think incorporating like the virtual component in it, even when we start doing more larger events in person, I think is kind of cool, so that people, if they can't make it, they can still be a part of it. They can still feel as though, they are participating, because not everyone is going to get on a flight for a smaller event. But, if they can be a part of it virtually, they totally will do that too.
I agree. I agree with that. And I love the idea of sending out a care package. I think anything that you can do to make the experience a good one will have people supporting you even more after that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not everyone loves to get like little things in the mail. I mean, just by our Amazon culture, even if it's our toothpaste, we're like, yes, it came in.
It's so true.
What are some kind of out of the box, promotion ideas that you've heard of?
So talking about a box, I've seen that where I haven't done it personally, but I saw another author do it and I was like, this is brilliant. He sent a black box. It was a beautiful, beautiful black box by courier service. So it doesn't have like the postage stuff on it or anything, to the person's home. So this was sent to all of the people that endorsed his book and helped him promote it, to their home. And when you open the box, it had like that nice crinkly like silver and gold paper, and it had the book. And so it was presented beautifully and like glitter. And then you open the book and then it's signed. And so everyone was resharing or posting videos about how they received this beautiful box that said thank you, and it had the book inside. I thought that that was genius because, like you said, people love to receive gifts or things in the mail. And once they receive it and it's a beautiful box and it's presented beautifully, they're going to want to go on their Instagram and Facebook and show everybody. So,
Yep.
and then what that does is it's promoting the book. So I was like, that is okay. I would took notes and I was like, I'm going to try that next time. That's awesome. Let me see. What else? What else? I think
I
honestly, that's
love
the
that
stuff that comes
idea.
to mind. Yeah.
No, I love that idea, because even if it's an invitation to a party, if it's something like really beautiful, or, obviously for those things cost money and you can't do them for everyone, especially when you are launching something. Maybe if you've been in business for a while and you have other products that are generating revenue that you want to use to do these kind of like PR stunts, I would say. But if you do present something to somebody, especially affiliate partners, so that's another thing too. You can work with affiliate partners that maybe they're selling your book, maybe they're promoting your book, and maybe they're getting commission off of it. So any e-downloads, any actual purchases of the book, that's a great way to work with the partners that you may have existing, or create a referral and in partnership. So maybe there are other businesses that are complementary to what you do. So like Janine and I have a lot of clients that are authors and I do their marketing, but I don't show them how to publish their book. I don't know about editing and things like that. And so Janine and I have kind of a similar space where we work with authors, but on different aspects of it. So we are good, referral partnerships in the sense. And so those of you that are listening, think about people that may have the same target demographic as you, but do different things and provide different services to fulfill the needs of that client, and then partner and work together and come up with creative ideas to support each other's business and that's like even with your book. So even if you are say a romance writer, you could think about maybe there's a candy company or a cookie company or a lingerie company, and maybe for the Valentine's Day you create a gift pack where it's the romance novel, some lingerie, and some sweets from a local business, and you come together to create a gift pack. Or on each other's social media you're sharing, because like I said, on social media, you don't want to just have it be the directory of your product, not consistently buy me, buy me, buy me, here's the product. You want to have all those things that Janine and I were talking about before, with the behind the scenes, the testimonials, the process, the readings, all of those things to make it diverse and to have like your story really come to life. But then what else is a part of that story that people in your target demographic would be interested in? So what other things would they like? What other subject matters would they care about learning more about? Or what other products would they be interested in? So you can kind of be collaborative, and you then get other content for your page. So tomorrow you post about the chocolates, the next day you post about the lingerie, and it all kind of fits into that like romance novel thing. A wellness person, if you're writing books on self-development, maybe you're going to partner with a nutritionist, a fitness coach, a meditation coach, a yoga coach. So maybe there's all of these different, and there's a ton of products that are in that realm as well. So maybe you partner with people like that and showcase and support their businesses on your social media. That's more content, and people are like, oh yeah, you get this realm of this lifestyle, this community, and the needs and wants of people in that community.
It's so true. Connecting with other people that are in similar industries, or that, like you mentioned, you're in marketing, I'm in book publishing, but we have similar clients, is huge. And it's also a great way to network, a great way to get yourself out there, a great way to connect with new people. There's just so many things that can be done. So I always recommend constantly just be talking to people. You never know who you're going to meet, or how you can service someone else. I love asking people, what can I do to help you? Like, forget about me. What can I do to help you? And so, no, those are great ideas, and definitely ways to get yourself out there as well.
Yeah, I'm always talking to people. I'm always connecting with people. I generally just meet people and just talk to them. My girlfriend and I were on the beach in Tulum after we were speaking at an event in Playa del Carmen. We went down to Tulum to spend the day, and we're just standing there on the beach, and these two guys come walking by, and we start chatting with them, and figures out that even though we're in Mexico, they're actually from our neck of the woods in New England. One's a videographer, another one has like a pet company, also an entrepreneur. And so, one potential customer or lead, one potential partnership right there, just, randomly talking to people on the beach. And I created a mastermind group that meets on Tuesdays at noon Eastern Standard Time, because I love meeting new people and connecting people, because I am always like, oh, you need to speak to this person or this person or this person. And you can always and when you give somebody a good referral, they're happy for that. They're like, yes, I needed that. Thank you for saving me the time of trying to find that person to help me with this specific need. I didn't have to do the research. You already know this person. You already know that their work. You can vouch for them. And now I am getting this thing checked off of my to-do list. And people are forever grateful for that. So, make and building your communities and talking to people and getting your brand out there is super important.
Yes, and you just, like you said, you never know who you're going to meet and where. You can meet them on a beach, you can meet them anywhere. I've had that happen to me too. I was at the airport once, and I was sitting next to a girl that lived in my same city and did the same job as I was doing at that time. It was just weird how timing, and you will meet the right people at the right time always.
Yeah, I think it's all about just being like open and manifesting like what you want. So I'm really big in believing that the energy that you create and the being intentional with what you want to come into your life, and it not be like a, maybe it will come, but being like, okay, every morning I'm going to like shift my energy. So this is going to come to my life. I have done it times, and I think it works. And if anything, at least it's a positive mindset to have during the day.
I agree with that.
So I have one fun question that I ask all of my guests. If you could be a superhero, what would your 2 superpowers be?
I don't know, but I think I would like to be invisible. I'm an introvert by nature. So I think I would love to be invisible. Like I would just, that would be great. What else? Time travel, maybe. I would love to go back in time. If I could go live in the 70s and 80s for a couple days, I would be so happy.
That's cool. My 2 superpowers would be to fly and to speak every language in the world.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. I like that one too.
Because it would make things so much easier, like for work, for leisure, for all of the things. And you could help so many more people if you could communicate.
That is amazing. I've never thought about that. That's good.
Every time I see those like earpiece commercials where you put the earpiece in and you can understand other languages, I'm like, oh man, I wish I could just do that naturally.
That is super cool. I would love that too.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being on. I hope all of you that are listening that are thinking about launching your book actually get out there and do it. Janine, let us know how we can get in touch with you for those authors out there that, want to get the ball rolling and get this book done.
The best way to get a hold of me is Instagram. I'm on there as Janine Hernandez _, and it's the name that you see right here on the screen, Janine Hernandez _. Or you can email me at info@janinehernandez.com.
Okay, awesome. Thank you all for being on, and I will put that information in the messaging of the videos if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. And if you are on the podcast listening in, be sure to follow at Janine Hernandez _ on Instagram. Thank you all. Bye.